The church behind us, and the church just gave me the okay to park the truck here.
Jimmy Woods cheated death so many times before he finally hit rock bottom, he lost count.
Listen to your dreaming going on here.
This is 3 years in the making.
He'd gotten 4 DUIs, totaled 2 cars, ruined his marriage, lost his home, lost his business, and ultimately, his self-respect.
I broke the record for the highest blood alcohol in a living, breathing human being ever brought into Paspen Hospital.
What was it?
It was 0.58. I would shake so bad I couldn't walk. I would pull myself to the refrigerator to get a drink in the morning because I couldn't walk. Would slide down my steps to get to the refrigerator, and a half a beer in, I could jump back on my feet as if it was a miracle.
Jimmy tells me he used to get so drunk and high, he wouldn't be able to find his way home from the bar across the street. He'd stumble into the cemetery and pass out among the headstones.
I was at the end of my rope. I had done 17 or 18. I had been taken to, I had taken myself to Paspen Hospital right up over the hill. I remember a woman looking at me and saying, "Mr. Woods, you've been here 17 times this year. We can't help you." And I remember thinking, if you can't help me, who can?
But rock bottom hadn't come yet. There was a 2-week wait for rehab, but Jimmy couldn't wait even 2 hours, so he stumbled into the church across the street.
I came in here and the doors were open, and I was surprised at that. It was a Sunday night at 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And the doors were open for a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, which I didn't know took place. I had attended Alcoholics Anonymous, but not the NA. And, I came in here and I curled up in a fetal position in the front pew there, and begged to God, who I wasn't even sure was listening or that existed, for help. I needed to be saved from the insanity of my drinking and drug abuse. The drinking especially, I could not put down the drink. It's kind of hard to accept that that was the answer to your prayers, but it truly was. I know for a fact if I wasn't hit by that car, I wouldn't be standing here today. There's no way I would have survived any longer. It took me out of commission, put me in the hospital long enough. It's like trying to explain the color red to a blind person. It's impossible to put into words, because if I try, I feel like I let them down, because it was undeniably the most powerful thing that you could ever experience. And after I experienced it, I wondered why he didn't do it to everybody, because it would change the world instantly. It changed me instantly and forever.
To allow residents to speak to officials about safety in Homewood.
Fast forward 4 years and focus on this truck and Jimmy Woods' new mission to save other lives from destruction.
It'll be 13 altogether.
We're contributing to the solution is what we're doing, you know?
Jimmy's next chapter, fish tacos, the most ridiculously delicious ones you've ever eaten. He makes them while giving recovering addicts a safe place to heal. His food is delicious, his mission, life-saving.
We've been very blessed with a huge amount of support from churches, from people that have, like everyone does, has one of us in their family. We've received a huge amount of support.
And one of us would be what?
I'm sorry?
You say one of us, what do you mean?
One of us. One of us being a drug addict, alcoholic. Everybody's got one. At least one, you know.
You believe that?
I know that. They may not know it right away, but we exist in every family, you know?
Jimmy calls his traveling ministry Mission Mahi. And here inside his food truck, hand-painted by a former heroin addict, he cooks something so delicious and life-saving.
I knew that I was saved for a reason, and now the pressure was on. I knew that he didn't save me to sit on the bench. I knew he wanted me in there, doing something, and I didn't know what that something was.
But Mission Mahi didn't just catch on, it spread like wildfire.
Nice to meet you, Bob.
Can you get to those fries, buddy?
Jimmy's delicious fish was sending a message.
They should be about ready.
And you know, the coolest thing about Mission Mahi is that so many of the people who pull up to grab a bite to eat don't really know about the whole message here and the true mission. And the mission is recovery. The mission is hope. It is inspiration. It is healing. And it is healing from addiction.
Jimmy hires recovering addicts like 21-year-old Austin Matthew and gives them a safe place to get back on their feet.
I don't like to admit defeat, and I didn't want to admit I was an addict, so I would try a drug, love it, and then say, well, maybe if I do another one, it's just that. But each one brought me to the same point, whether cocaine, Xanax. I went to rehab, learned a lot of tools, came back out and had another relapse, and then I ended up going to the hospital from a Xanax overdose. And Jimmy even came and visited me, and since then I just remembered all the sickness and stuff I felt, and I've been in rehab 4 different times, and there just wasn't a place I wanted to go to again.
Do you know what this is about here?
No.
Mission Mahi. These are recovering addicts
Oh,
inside who are using the truck and food sort of as their ministry to reach out to others in need and to spread the word of recovery.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's real neat.
I think it's wonderful. That's why I support it.
Have you been here before then?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're a frequent flyer.
I'm a frequenter.
They also sort of minister to people out of this truck. So people who realize that these are recovering addicts who are struggling themselves will come here and they get more than fish. What do you think about that?
That's amazing. It's wonderful.
Has your family or anybody you know ever been touched by addiction?
Yes, in our family there's been addiction. I think it seems like almost all families anymore.
The man who runs this truck had a face-to-face, a personal experience with God in rehab that turned him around.
I totally believe that.
And that is why he is doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And he said on that day, he never once wanted to have another drink or another drug again. Changed his life.
And it would only be through God's strength that he was able to do that. That's it.
It's a powerful message.
It's a powerful message. Yes, it is.
Some of my best work on our slowest days, and that was our last customer in that little bunch, but at the end or when we're slow, it's always the time when somebody walks up and wants to talk or needs to talk or needs direction,
And you're 100% serious.
I met him. Imagine how your life would change if you met God, Imagine how your life would change. This order's ready, buddy. Tex-Mex and Yenzer.
All right.
Yenzer's on top.
Grandma, you're all ready.
Well, here's
Jimmy's next step?
Well, let's turn it around so that you can see it from. These are the front windows. This is where we are right now. This.
A storefront, this storefront, right across the street from Passavant Hospital.
It was 3 years ago and wasn't quite time yet. God wanted us to go on the road with this food truck first and get our product out there and be on the move. We were on the move and we were able to reach more people, I think, on the truck. And now we're going to have a home base where people can come anytime they need to talk. It's going to be awesome.
I love it.
How beautiful.
And Jimmy's restaurant is right next to a church.
It's not a coincidence that from that position where I was in the front pew, through that cross, it lands directly on the road where I was struck by the car. or where I ended up. You know, every prayer that said the majority of the sermon, I'm looking up at that cross because I know what it did for me. I know what he did for me that night. And I picture something very special happening to me when I was in that fetal position sleeping through that cross.